Putting prevention first. Police and Crime Plan, 2025 to 2029. A message from Sarah, Police and Crime Commissioner. Since I was elected in May, I've been out and about, listening to you, talking through your concerns, and working on real solutions. One issue comes up time and again: stopping crime before it happens. We are privileged to live in a county with low crime, and our constabulary works tirelessly to keep it that way. But your worries and experiences are real, and they matter. I believe that if we put more time, energy, and resources into preventing crime, we'll all be safer and better prepared to handle life's challenges when they come our way. This Police and Crime Plan is built on teamwork. It's not just about policing, it's about working with councils, the NHS, charities, schools, sports clubs, and places of worship. It must reach every part of Norfolk, from our rural villages and coastal towns to our busy suburbs and market squares. And it must reflect the fact that crime and recovery from it feels very different depending on where you live. Our approach must reflect that. This is my first Police and Crime Plan, shaped by the priorities you've shared with me. It lays out how we can work together to make our communities safer and stronger. It also makes sure that if crime does happen, the right support is there for you and your loved ones. One thing I've noticed when talking to people is that many don't actually know what a police and crime commissioner does. Like you, I expect elected representatives to take action, not just sit in meetings. That's why this plan also sets out my personal commitments to you. Working on real solutions. I take this role seriously. And I know that by working together, we can make a real difference. This is your plan, and I want you to be part of it. Follow my work on social media, sign up for my newsletter, and find out how you can get involved. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and working alongside you. Sarah Taylor, Police and Crime Commissioner for Norfolk. Policing in Norfolk. Norfolk is an incredible place to live and work, with more lakes than the Lake District. Nearly 150 miles of coastline, cathedrals, and medieval streets. It's easy to overlook our busy ports, airport, and industrial areas that keep the county thriving. Covering 2,079 square miles, Norfolk is the fifth largest policing area in the country. Norfolk Constabulary serves around 914,000 people, most in rural settings. Just over half live in urban areas like Norwich, Great Yarmouth, Kings Lynn, and Thetford, some of which rank among the most deprived areas in the country. Our population also swells with university students and the many visitors who come to experience all Norfolk has to offer. Policing such a large and diverse county comes with a myriad of challenges. Rural areas in particular face longer response times, and for those living in them, accessing victim support or navigating the justice system can be more difficult due to limited public transport and high levels of forced car ownership. Despite these hurdles, Norfolk Constabulary continues to rise to these challenges. In its latest inspection, His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services rated the force outstanding for crime recording and praised its efforts to engage communities, reduce harm from antisocial behavior, and prevent crime. However, there's still work to do in improving how antisocial behavior is recorded.
Officers understood the importance of appropriate behaviours and communicated effectively with the public when carrying out stop and search. The constabulary communicates with its communities well and reduces harm caused by antisocial behaviour. It has tailored its work to meet the needs of different communities and has robustly applied antisocial behaviour legislation. The constabulary has sustained its good performance in preventing and deterring crime, but its recording of antisocial behaviour needs to improve.
Behind the scenes, the Police and Crime Commissioner is supported by the Office of the Police and Crime Commissioner for Norfolk, OPCCN, led by the Chief Executive. The team includes advisors in policing performance, finance, public engagement, communications, policy, criminal justice, community safety, and victim support, all working together to deliver our Police and Crime Plan for Norfolk. What does this plan mean for you? Norfolk is one of the safest places to live. And during my visits across the county, I heard from many of you that the police are doing a good job despite the pressures they face. At the same time, I also hear that there's more to be done, more focus on preventing crime, supporting victims, and strengthening public services that work together to keep us safe. This plan reflects your priorities and outlines what I, alongside the police, will do to deliver on them. By working together, we can build stronger communities where people can thrive. The solutions we need will be shaped by local needs and focused on addressing your concerns. Your concerns. Crime and antisocial behavior are top concerns. You want safer streets and more efforts to stop crime before it happens. Visible policing, especially in rural areas, is a clear priority. Many of you have told me you want to see more officers out in your communities. Timely justice is a challenge, and I will push for a system that responds faster, as delays erode public trust. In developing this plan, I have also taken account of the strategic policing requirement to ensure that locally policing has the capacity and capability to respond to them. Violence against women and girls. Terrorism. Serious and organized crime. National cyber event. Child sexual abuse. Public disorder. Civil emergencies. Nationally, trust in the police is low, but I see the incredible work of Norfolk Constabulary every day. Yet, I know some feel let down or unsure if the police will be there when needed. Restoring trust is central to everything we do, and strengthening local policing through the Neighborhood Policing Guarantee is a key part of this. As your Police and Crime Commissioner, building public trust and confidence will run through my work like a golden thread. This plan shows how I will work to create a safer, stronger community for us all. Having your say. Violent crime and public safety.
A particular crime that concerns me is knife crime. I think there is an urgent need to deal with violence against women and girls. Females must feel safe to walk the streets without fear. Improved prevention and frontline services for the violence against women and girls agenda. As a female, the daily anxiety of experiencing discrimination and harassment has a significant impact on my feelings of safety and well-being. Real crime is getting worse. Everyone knows it's gangs doing it. Organized crime is overlooked. Stop crime groups.
Policing and visibility.
Main concern which needs addressing is visibility of police and ability to obtain help when needed. More bobbies on the beat. Prevention and visible policing need to be addressed, especially in rural and market towns.
Community and support initiatives.
More support for young people at risk, in poorer areas where there's not much to do. More support to local volunteers seen like the Neighborhood Watch. Reflecting the need for strong and effective victim support across all parts of our communities, and that the potential for victimization is widespread, we recommend that this is a high priority.
Justice and crime prevention.
An effective criminal justice system is imperative to providing confidence in community safety. We welcome a focus on prevention to reduce the likelihood of our residents becoming victims of crime and to target crime and those who commit crime in our communities. If more money was spent on reoffending and prevention, then crime would be reduced and the cost to the police and the taxpayer would be low. Locking people up does not work. Prevention is key. Youngsters need something positive to engage with and not be left to turn to crime when bored or by having no money.
Officer welfare and resources.
Anything that can make officers' lives easier will make them happier and feel appreciated. More money needs to be put into staff and officers. Their mental health needs to be the focus of your work. Better support for officers and staff, especially with mental health. Overall, police in Norfolk do an excellent job. It's a shame they aren't paid more and get more support.
Antisocial behavior and local crime issues.
I would like to see more of a focus on stopping antisocial behavior. Road safety needs to be addressed in rural areas. As a local person that works in the town, I often see shoplifting, ASB, and street drinking. This makes me feel unsafe. We need more officers on the beat to address the ASB problems in the town centre.
On a typical week in Norfolk, Officers deal with approximately 2,466 emergency 999 calls are received, 143 ASB incidents, 12 thefts from a motor vehicle, 14 bicycle thefts. 3,582 incidents are not recorded, 145 missing persons, 7 robberies, 61 sexual offences including rape, 1139 crimes are reported, 18 burglaries, 117 criminal damage incidents, 368 violent crimes, 309 arrests are made, 15 of these arrests are for sexual offences, 14 road incidents in which people are killed or seriously injured, 900 incidents caused by mental health issues, 25% of all incidents, 208 domestic abuse incidents, 21 of these are high risk, 107 of these are medium risk. Your priorities: preventing crime. The overwhelming majority of people who responded to the Police and Crime Plan consultation had a clear message: prevention matters. You want to focus on tackling crime at its roots, helping young people stay on the right path, away from risk factors that can lead to crime or victimization, supporting communities to protect themselves from crimes like fraud and burglary, and ensuring those already in the justice system get the help they need to break the cycle of reoffending. Serious and organized crime affects us all, whether we see it or not. It costs lives, damages communities, and holds back economic growth. No part of our county is untouched by serious and organized crime. This can only be tackled using a whole system approach, working together across public services, businesses, and communities to create long-lasting change, working in partnership with local authorities and key stakeholders. I will 1. Make our communities safer. Work with local planning authorities, the Highway Authority and other partners to design out crime from our streets and public spaces. 2. Protect vulnerable people. Reduce violent crime by supporting the Serious Violence Duty, the county's multi-agency partnerships and initiatives. 3. Improve mental health support. Develop high-impact measures through collaboration with the Norfolk and Suffolk Foundation Trust. 4. Challenge harmful behaviors. Expand active bystander training to jointly tackle sexual harassment in schools, workplaces, nightlife, and on public transport. 5. Invest in safety for women and girls to prevent violence and provide essential support. 6. Support local youth initiatives, from village hall game nights to long-established youth groups, giving children and young people positive opportunities. 7. Help people stay ahead of fraudsters. By launching targeted awareness campaigns, we can enable communities to spot and avoid scams in line with the National Fraud Strategy. 8. Protect businesses from cybercrime. Work with Norfolk's business community to strengthen digital security. 9. Tackle human trafficking and modern slavery. Partner with local businesses, as well as local and national organizations to reduce exploitation and harm. 10. Deliver social value. Use procurement for the constabulary and the OPCCN's wider supply chain to deliver more social value into our communities. Example project: Prince of Wales Road. For many people, Prince of Wales Road no longer feels like a welcoming part of Norwich. People report feeling unsafe not only during nighttime hours, but during the day too. While the police will continue their efforts to improve, real change comes from working together. I will be working closely with Norwich City Council, Norfolk County Council, local businesses and retailers, as well as local residents, to make this area feel safer and more inviting. By designing out crime, we can create a more welcoming gateway into the city, deter criminal activity, and create a renewed sense of pride in this city centre location. Preventing crime objectives: reduce serious violence. Prioritize the reduction of serious violence offences, and where those involve domestic abuse, to continue working with our partners through the Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence Delivery Group, DASVG. Bring more offenders to justice. Focus on increasing the number of offenders brought to justice for violence against women and girls, VAWG, offences. Strengthen responses to neighbourhood crime. Maintain outcome and charge rates for neighborhood crimes, residential burglary, vehicle offenses, theft from the person, and robbery. Enhance policing through technology. Enable policing to become more efficient and effective in detecting and preventing crime through improved access to technology and providing adequate training for our police officers and staff. Empower communities with crime prevention initiatives. Promote and support local and national crime prevention initiatives and campaigns to help educate communities to prevent crime. Invest in police welfare and resilience. Invest in improving welfare and support to police officers and staff working for the constabulary, including specials and volunteers, to ensure that our police service is resilient and has the capacity and capability to respond to our policing priorities. Focus on prevention. Preventing crime requires a proactive approach, not a reactive one. Work in partnership to make services relevant and accessible, investing in reducing offending, drawing on information and intelligence to build crime prevention strategies. Addressing the environment where crime takes place is crucial. Improved feelings of safety for victims of crime. Your priorities. Cohesive communities. People across Norfolk have told me the same thing. The system isn't working. It doesn't always support us, our families, or our communities the way we need. Many want more than just help for themselves. They want it for their friends, neighbors, and colleagues too. Safety is about more than just policing here in Norfolk. It's about building communities where everyone feels secure, valued, and supported in the place where we live. But right now, support isn't reaching everyone equally across our county. While resources have been focused on areas of greatest need, other communities have been left behind. Every part of the system is connected, contributes to, or supports all other parts. By adopting a deeply collaborative approach with politicians and organizations across Norfolk, we can deliver better, stronger, and safer communities for everyone across Norfolk. I will restart Norfolk's Road Safety Partnership Strategic Board. To provide safer roads and fewer tragedies, I will also implement a Vision Zero approach to reduce the number of people killed or seriously injured on our roads. Tackle root causes. Working closely with key partners like the Norfolk and Suffolk Foundation Trust and the Integrated Care Board to share data and create long-term solutions to prevent crime, as well as considering environmental change. Improve local services by working with Norfolk County Council, as well as district, town, and parish councils to improve everyday services that impact the quality of life for citizens across Norfolk. Strengthen community networks. Administrative support will be increased for the revitalized Neighborhood Watch program, helping communities work together to prevent crime across Norfolk. Protect Norfolk's heritage. I will engage with heritage organizations to launch Norfolk Heritage Watch to tackle issues such as antisocial behavior, livestock worrying, and criminal activity at churches and other heritage sites. Stand up against hate crime. Improve the response to hate crime by increasing reporting, especially in underreported areas, with targeted awareness campaigns and working with local councils and community organizations. Ensure every voice is heard. Actively engage with people across the county, including those with English as a second language, or individuals from minority ethnic or faith backgrounds, to ensure all communities are represented. There are opportunities available for anyone interested in volunteering to help their community. In policing, these include independent custody visitors, independent advisory group, community speed watch, police support volunteers, special constables. In addition, Neighborhood Watch, numerous youth groups, sports and social clubs rely on volunteers. Without these volunteers' time and commitment, there would be fewer safe places for our children and young people to pass their time constructively, and older members of our community could feel more vulnerable. I will work with local organizations that support volunteers, charities, and social enterprises to highlight the work undertaken by our volunteers and celebrate their successes. Amplifying young voices in policing. Young people's voices are often missing from conversations about policing, yet the decisions made today will shape their future. To address this, I will establish a young people's panel. giving young people a platform to share their views on policing and policy. By listening to their experiences and concerns, we can build a policing approach that better reflects the needs of all generations, creating safer, more inclusive communities for all. Example project: Neighborhood Policing Priority Setting. Everyone deserves to have a say in how their community is policed, but right now, the way local priorities are set varies too much across Norfolk, and this leads to some people's needs being overlooked. In some areas, Safer Neighborhood Action Panel (SNAP) meetings are well attended, while in others they don't happen at all. Some meetings see the same small group of people each time, while others attract a much wider audience. To make it easier for everyone to report issues in their neighborhoods, I will invest in a new reporting system, which will give people across Norfolk a simple, direct way to raise concerns, ensuring they reach the right neighborhood policing team quickly and effectively. By using digital technology to bridge the gap, we can make sure that every community, not just a few, has a voice in shaping the safety of their local area, and that concerns are proactively addressed. Cohesive communities objectives. Designated police officers. Support the roll-out of officers to deliver the neighborhood policing guarantee to ensure each neighborhood has a designated police officer they can contact when issues arise. Safer roads for all. Work with the Road Safety Partnership Strategic Board to reduce the number of people killed or seriously injured on our roads. Address shoplifting. Work with business communities to continue to tackle shoplifting offenses across the county and encourage the use of all available deterrents, including civil orders. United Against Hate. Continue to work with partners to identify and reduce repeat victims and support the Stop Hate in Norfolk (ESHIN) campaign. Protect rural and local communities. Work in partnership to tackle rural crime, agricultural, equine, wildlife, and heritage. Road incidents. On a typical week, 157 breath tests are carried out. On a typical week, there are approximately 114 shoplifting or shop thefts. 50 positive outcomes happen per week. Your priorities: reducing harm. We all want less crime. And when crime does happen, we want criminals held accountable. However, as many respondents to the Police and Crime Plan consultation have shared, Norfolk Constabulary is just one link in the chain of the criminal justice system. Too often, victims of crime have told me that they feel they have been failed by the criminal justice system. With unprecedented backlogs and long trial delays, the impact on victims and witnesses is deeply concerning. While national government decisions play a big role in changing this, we can take steps locally to improve how the system works here in Norfolk, one in which victims and survivors feel more supported. I will support all victims, whether it's women, men, or children, to continue our vital support for victims and survivors of domestic abuse. Break down barriers to justice. I will develop a local criminal justice board in Norfolk, bringing together all organizations and agencies to reduce barriers and bring those to justice. Support victims every step of the way. The Victim's Choice quality mark will be secured, ensuring victims have better access to essential support services, particularly for those in rural areas. Rehabilitation for ex-offenders. Work with His Majesty's Prison and Probation Service to increase opportunities for rehabilitation and community payback schemes for those on probation. Training for frontline workers. Create a program of free-to-access training for those working in client-facing roles, helping them better support those experiencing domestic abuse. Raise awareness of support services. I will increase visibility and understanding of the Harbour Centre, Norfolk's Sexual Assault Referral Centre, to make it easier for people who have experienced sexual assault to access help and support. Respect for all. We'll continuously improve the Independent Custody Visitor Scheme in Norfolk to ensure that people detained by the police are treated with respect and dignity. Support for neurodiverse individuals. I'll increase police awareness of and potential adjustments for those with neurodiverse needs or learning disabilities during interactions with the police and justice system, reducing potential for harm and guaranteed fair treatment. Example project: improving men's mental health. Every year, around 90 people in Norfolk take their own lives. Of those, 68 are men. This isn't just a statistic. It's a heartbreaking reality for families, friends, and entire communities. To reduce the devastating impact on families and communities, I will work with public health and wider partners in the voluntary sector to deliver high-impact measures targeted to support priority groups, including those at higher risk. These include middle-aged men, people in the justice system. I will collaborate extensively to address common risk factors linked to suicide, including financial difficulty and economic adversity, gambling and alcohol and drug misuse. I will focus on delivering a range of measures aimed at better supporting people, and particularly those most at risk, such as men and people in our most affected industries, including farming, construction, and health and social care. Reducing harm objectives. Crack down on crime. Continue to disrupt serious and organized crime groups, preventing them from harming our communities. Speed up emergency response times. Aim to answer 90% of 999 calls in 10 seconds. Improve conviction rates. Increase outcomes and charge rates for domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual offenses, and rape. Strengthen officer and staff training. Continue to embed the Operation Soteria principles in officer and staff training to improve investigation and prosecution of rape and serious sexual assault. Further restorative justice in Norfolk. Maximize opportunities for the use of restorative justice in Norfolk. Improve victim and witness communication. Improve communications with victims and witnesses of crime and ensure compliance with the victim's code of practice is embedded into the relevant policies and procedures. On a typical week approximately, 22 cautions are issued and 50 community resolutions, 159 charges brought against offenders, 52 stop and searches of these. 35 are drugs-related. Justice must be fair and effective. For victims, for communities, for Norfolk. What will success look like? Norfolk Constabulary is committed to responding to all reports of crime, and I will continue to hold the police service to account across all aspects of policing. But real change comes from listening to you and acting on what matters most. Based on your priorities, should this plan be successfully delivered, then by early 2029 we will see fewer people being killed or seriously injured on our roads, more safe places for children and young adults to spend their time and find support, reduced levels of antisocial behavior in both our urban and rural communities, a Norfolk Local Criminal Justice Board set up to reduce risk in the criminal justice system in the county, stronger support for victims so that they are treated with dignity and care, increased public confidence, and more communities engaged with their local policing teams, better access to services to help people living in rural areas cope with and recover from crime, a police service that gives back, using its supply chain to create real benefits, and an OPCCN which delivers more direct benefits for local communities and businesses across Norfolk. People living, working, or visiting all parts of Norfolk engaged in a continuous conversation with the Police and Crime Commissioner and with Norfolk Constabulary. The Police and Crime Plan in action. The ambitions laid out in this Police and Crime Plan will only be achieved through tenacious and collaborative working with partners and organizations across the whole system. Just as policing can touch all parts of our lives, its success depends on the strength of the wider system, incorporating the NHS, local and national governments, the courts and prison services, public transport operators, and national highways, charities and businesses. The delivery plan that sits alongside this police and crime plan therefore needs to take account of the fact that some parts of these improvements are not wholly in the gift of the constabulary or the OPCCN to deliver. But that won't stop a push for real progress. The indicative plan included here is therefore a statement of intent for this police and crime plan. I am committed to working as closely as possible with all partners to achieve these aims. And more, a continuous conversation. Understanding your priorities shouldn't be limited to a one-off consultation every 4 years, but an ongoing, open dialogue. That's why I'm committed to a rolling program of engagement to create a continuous conversation with people of all ages and backgrounds across Norfolk. This includes visits across Norfolk to listen to people's concerns and to find solutions to any issues arising. This will include visits to community groups, places of worship, and employers. Delivery of workshops to increase people's understanding of and participation in budget-setting discussions. Bringing the role of the Police and Crime Commissioner to life at schools and colleges and shining a light on policing issues that matter to young people. Telephone and online surgeries for parish and town councils to discuss matters arising in their areas. Regular meetings with elected representatives to enable a joined-up approach with local and national decision-makers. Pop-up surgeries at supermarkets and libraries. Attendance at community events, such as the Royal Norfolk Show, Norwich Pride and Cromer Carnival. My commitments to you. Invest in Norfolk's safety. I receive funding from 3 main sources: the central government policing grant, the policing element of your local council tax, and external grants and income. I will actively seek new funding opportunities to support the delivery of local policing services in Norfolk and to tackle crime at its source. A robust police force. Norfolk's police must be equipped to respond to both local concerns and national priorities referred to in the strategic policing requirement. I will strive to equip officers with the capacity, skills, and tools to keep our communities safe. Focus on prevention and early intervention. Crime prevention starts long before a crime is committed. I will invest in prevention and early intervention to challenge the causes of antisocial behavior and crime so that we can build safer communities and protect people from harm. Support local projects and policing welfare. The Police Property Act Fund generates funds through the disposal of property seized by the police under the Proceeds of Crime Act. I will use this fund to support projects and services through grant rounds for local projects and to actively support and improve the welfare of police officers and staff. Invest beyond policing. I will commission services outside of traditional policing to prevent offending, support, and invest in early intervention. I will also support community initiatives to prevent and reduce crime, support victims, and tackle domestic abuse. Safe communities are built through collaboration, not just enforcement. Hold the police to account. I will hold the Chief Constable to account for delivery of the police service across Norfolk. In addition, the delivery of this police and crime plan will require resources to be used as efficiently and effectively as possible to provide the best possible service to the public. Community-focused, the OPCCCN will become more focused on problem-solving and delivery of projects. Not only commissioning services delivered by other organizations, but providing additional capacity to community groups and charitable organizations to drive real, lasting change to Norfolk's communities. Example project: securing social value. Every year, Norfolk Constabulary and the OPCCN secure a variety of contracts, from catering and estate maintenance to forensic services. These contracts are essential in keeping our police force running effectively, but they have the potential to do even more for our communities. By using the ability established under the Public Services Social Value Act 2012, public sector contracts can go beyond simply delivering a service. They can create positive outcomes. I will create a social value policy which will establish the ways in which suppliers, working with Norfolk Constabulary and the OPCCN, actively contribute to the local communities they serve, so that public contracts deliver more benefits for Norfolk's residents and businesses. Finance and resources. The annual budget isn't just about numbers. It makes sure that Norfolk's police service have the resources they need to keep our communities safe and to support wider PCC functions. The table outlines where our funding comes from and where it was spent in 2024-2025. The 2024-2025 financial year is the final year of the government's 2021 three-year comprehensive spending review, which provided national funding allocations for policing for 2022, 2023 to 2024-2025. The total budget under the control of the PCC in 2024-2025 is £211.4 million. 2024-25 budget breakdown. Source of budget: government funding, Budget 2023-24, £105,936,324. Budget 2024-25, £111,688,042. Source of budget, council tax. Budget 2023-24, £93,917,669. Budget 2024-25, £99,707,933. Source of budget, approved budget. Budget 2023-24, £199,853,993. Budget 2024-25, £211,395,975. How the money is spent. Employees. Budget 2022-23, £166,217,858. Percentage of budget, 85.8%. Budget 2023-24, £171,653,993. Percentage of budget, 85.9%. Budget 2024-25, £186,301,659. Percentage of budget, 88.1%. Premises, budget 2022-23, £17,300,000. Percentage of budget, 8.9%. Budget 2023-24, £18,900,000. Percentage of budget, 9.5%. Budget 2024-25, £20,431,596. Percentage of budget, 9.7%. Transport. Budget 2022-23, £3,500,000. Percentage of budget, 1.8%. Budget 2023-24, £3,700,000. Percentage of budget, 1.8%. Budget 2024-25, £3,971,277. Percentage of budget, 1.9%. Supplies, services and other. Budget 2022-23, £24,900,000. Percentage of budget, 12.9%. Budget 2023-24, £23,900,000. Percentage of budget, 12%. Budget 2024-25, £26,445,898. Percentage of budget, 12.5%. Capital financing. Budget 2022-23, £3,900,000. Percentage of budget, 2%. Budget 2023-24, £5,300,000. Percentage of budget, 2.6%. Budget 2024-25, £5,685,545. Percentage of budget, 2.7%. Gross budget. Budget 2022-23, £215,817,858. Percentage of budget, 111.4%. Budget 2023-24, £223,453,993. Percentage of budget, 111.8%. Budget 2024-25, £242,835,975. Percentage of budget, 114.9%. Other income. Budget 2022-23, £22,100,000. Percentage of budget, minus 11.4%. Budget 2023-24, £23,600,000. Percentage of budget, minus 11.8%. Budget 2024-25, £31,440,000. Percentage of budget, minus 14.9%. Net budget. Budget 2022-23, £193,717,858. Percentage of budget, 100%. Budget 2023-24, £199,853,993. Percentage of budget, 100%. Budget 2024-25, £211,395,975. Percentage of budget, 100%. Finance and resources. The OPCCN operates on a budget of £1,830,000, excluding commissioning, for Norfolk's policing services to run smoothly, effectively, and with accountability at every level. This funding enables us to support victims and crime prevention, fund and manage services that help victims of crime and crime prevention, including the Norfolk and Suffolk Victim Care Service and the Norfolk Integrated Domestic Abuse Service, NIDAS. Manage the Norfolk Community Safety Partnership, shaping policies to tackle domestic abuse and sexual violence. Drive the Domestic Abuse Perpetrator Partnership approach. DAPA. Hold policing to account, oversee governance and accountability between the PCC and Chief Constable. Manage public accountability meetings and the Police and Crime Panel to ensure transparency. Conduct independent police complaint. Reviews and oversee police misconduct hearings and police appeal tribunals. Run the Independent Custody Visitor Scheme. Financial oversight and risk management. Inspect the police budget and advise on precept options. Manage risk and financial audits across the OPCCN and the constabulary. Oversee estate governance, challenging business cases, and assessing income-generating opportunities. Administration and coordination of the PCCC's Section 55 responses to all HMICRS inspection recommendations. Community engagement and public involvement. Provide support to the PCC for correspondence, public meetings, and community engagement. Provide support to the PCC in her role as co-lead of the APCC portfolios on workforce and on roads policing. Attend scrutiny meetings with Norfolk and Suffolk PCCs and constabularies. Administer the Norfolk Independent Advisory Group. Strengthen the criminal justice system. Support the local criminal justice board and its working groups. Engage with the Norfolk Youth Offending Board to prevent reoffending and support rehabilitation. Governance, scrutiny, and oversight. As your elected Police and Crime Commissioner, I am here to represent you. One of my primary roles is to ensure Norfolk has an effective, efficient police service, one that delivers value for money, reduces crime, and remains answerable to the communities it serves. That means making sure every pound spent delivers value, that crime is tackled head-on, and that the police remain answerable to the communities they protect. Accountability and transparency are at the heart of everything I do. That's why I have a clear governance reporting framework in place to make sure policing in Norfolk meets the highest standards and truly reflects your priorities. The diagram illustrates the layers of accountability and oversight in policing. At the top, the Police and Crime Panel provides scrutiny. Below, the PCC Accountability Meeting and Joint Audit Committee ensure transparency and financial oversight. Additional checks come from scrutiny panels, independent custody visitors, and the Independent Advisory Group. Further oversight is provided by HMICFRS inspections, IOPC oversight, and public correspondence and feedback. Finally, specialists, volunteers, and professional experts contribute independent insights. Got a question for the PCC on policing? Find out more at norfolk-pcc.gov.uk. Governance, scrutiny, and oversight. My actions and decisions are reviewed and scrutinized in public on a quarterly basis by the Norfolk Police and Crime Panel. I also hold quarterly public PCC accountability meetings, PAM, with the Chief Constable, giving residents the opportunity to raise concerns and ask questions about the policing of their communities and across the county. Independent oversight is essential, and the Joint Audit Committee, which operates separately from my office, carefully examines both internal and external audit reports and advises on good governance principles and risk management arrangements. To ensure Norfolk Constabulary delivers the highest standards of policing, I also receive assurance reports and detailed briefings from stakeholders, including His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services, HET Microfs, and provide Section 55 responses to them. I maintain regular visits across the policing estate and oversee the estate strategy to enable the delivery of an effective, efficient, and improved policing service for our communities, while also working to reduce their environmental impact. Volunteers also play a crucial role, providing independent scrutiny and helping to shape how policing is delivered in the county. Measuring success is vital, which is why I am developing a range of performance measures. Regular reports on performance will be made publicly available alongside my annual report to the Police and Crime Panel. I also will continue visiting communities across Norfolk to listen, engage, and work closely with local policing teams to find practical solutions to the issues that matter most to you.
I want to ask you to pass on my thanks to the PCC for the question she asked of the Chief Constable on my behalf and the positive and constructive response from Norfolk Constabulary. Subsequent to the meeting, we had the opportunity to talk to the team lead. We have been able to share our concerns with her, and she was able to inform us of the changes that have taken place already and which are still ongoing. The experience of first being able to have my concerns raised by the PCC and of subsequently talking directly to the team lead have been very positive.
I want to hear from you. You can reach me at opccn@norfolk.police.uk. Sign up for my newsletter via the website norfolk-pcc.gov.uk by post Sarah Taylor, Police and Crime Commissioner for Norfolk. Jubilee House, Falconers Chase, Windham, Norfolk. NR 180WW by telephone 0195 342 4455. Follow us to stay connected. Facebook, Norfolk PCC. Twitter, X, @Norfolk PCC. Images used with permission by Jason by Photography. Design by shorthose-russell.co.uk. If you would like the information within this document in an alternative format, please contact the Office of the Police and Crime Commissioner for Norfolk, OPCCCN, with your request.